Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl. In this problem, we're asked to get the standard form of a hyperbola that has foci plus or minus 10, 0, and asymptotes y equal plus or minus 3/4 x. All right, so let's begin by looking at what we know. We know that this particular hyperbola has asymptotes at 3/4 x and negative 3/4 x. So I've actually sketched those two lines in. Notice that they both go through the origin. The first one will have a slope of 3/4. This one will have a slope of negative 3/4. I also know the foci are negative 10, 0 and positive 10, 0. Now remember that the branches of the hyperbola open around the foci. So even though I'm not quite sure where the vertices of the foci are, I know that they'll be to the right of negative 10 and to the left of positive 10, and that my hyperbola is going to surround both of those focus points. All right, now usually when I graph something like this, I draw in a rectangle to help me. And the rectangle I'm going to draw goes through the vertices, up and over, down through the vertices, and down across. Now, why did I draw that in? Well, if I'm looking for the standard form of my hyperbola, I know that my form is going to have an x squared divided by a squared minus y squared divided by b squared equals 1. And this is going to be true when a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, I want to put in my picture what these values of a, b, and c are. All right, so what is a? A is going to be the distance from the center to the vertex. B is going to be the height of that rectangle. And C is the distance from the center out to the focus point. All right, so what I need to do is find A and B to use my equation. However, the only information I've been given is the value of C. That's going to be 10 in this particular case. So I know that C equals 10, but I want to find A and B. Well, what do I know about A and B? Well, if I take a look at this transverse, the slope of that transverse is the change in y over the change in x. That's going to be b divided by a. So I know that b divided by a is going to be 3/4, which means that I can write b as 3/4 a. All right, so I know that I want a squared plus b squared to equal c squared. That means that a squared plus b squared, which is going to be 3/4 a, is going to equal 10 squared. So that tells me that a squared plus 9/16 a squared is 100. Getting a common denominator, I can say that this will be 16a squared plus 9a squared, which is 25a squared, all over 16 equals 100. 25a squared is going to equal 1600. A squared is going to be 1600 divided by 25. Okay? And that is going to be 64. So if a squared equals 64, that means a is going to be plus or minus 8. But remember, in my formula, I want a squared anyway. So I'm going to be looking at plugging in an 8 for my a. So here's my formula, and I'm going to have x squared all over 64 minus y squared all over b squared. Well, I don't have b yet. But I do know, remember, that b is 3/4 a. So b is going to be 3/4 times 8. And I know that 4 goes into 8 twice, so b is 6. And 6 squared is 36. So that's going to be the standard form of my hyperbola. Notice what's happening here. I've got x squared over 64. That means that my vertex, or my vertices, are going to happen at 8, 0 and negative 8, 0. The height of that rectangle for this example would have been 6. So 0, 6 and 0, negative 6. I hope that was helpful. Thanks.